Now towards the front. And we are starting. And do, 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 do. 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, welcome to the critical review on wind speed prediction model based on variational mode decomposition, temporal convolution network, and sequential triplet loss. I am your host, Maria Rodriguez Acosta, and I will be briefly explaining the article in conjunction to some personal notes about it. So without further ado, let's get started. The whole purpose of the article itself is to use different models and mathematical simulations in order to predict wind speed. In order to do this, we have the variational mode decomposition, the sequential triplet loss, autoregressive moving average, and a few others. These all have their own benefits and deficits in relation to the prediction model. The main model that was defined is that of the variation mode decomposition, shown on the right, which is this one right here. This model essentially has the capability of decomposing the series ft into the number k amount of modes from u1 all the way to uk. From this information, it is inferred that it has a limited bandwidth with varying centers. It is therefore a constraint problem and minimizes the sum of each bandwidth. Now for the critical review portion, I'll first be mentioning its strengths. As you can see, one of its strengths is that it is heavily detailed. It goes through every one of the equations and explains absolutely everything. However, some of the weaknesses are that it has a lot of mathematical jargon, and by which they mention a lot of Fourier transforms and equations and such, which are good, yes. It helps with explaining, however, at the end of the day, it is mathematical jargon, so those who do not have the mathematical background would not have a very good understanding. Same thing goes for more observations over applications. This is meant more so streamlining within the mathematical community over any other communities such as engineering. Based on these models, all we can do is just observe. There's no information about how to use the data or how it applies or anything of the sort. Now, some of the impacts that this critical review may have, global, essentially, understanding and predicting wind speed is something that can be applied not only locally, which is more than likely where the experiment was happening, but also on a global standard. If the model itself were to be broad enough to use in different areas, then it can predict wind speed in other places, which in turn falls into the environmental impact that it might cause. Being able to predict the wind speed actually is mentioned within the initial part of the article, that it will help in maintaining uh, wind the wind generators, where say if for any generator that is focused more so on trying to get energy from a wind turbine, using the wind speed essentially is not a very stable source, in which case, say in a thunderstorm, you're going to have a lot of voltage coming through, so that may damage or may cause a power surge. And then some other aspects, for example, here in Texas, we have crazy weather, and all of a sudden there are dead days when it comes to wind speeds. Those days you get no power at all. With a prediction model such as this, if you were able to predict when the wind would stop or suddenly surge over, the energy sources and energy companies would be able um, to adjust for such impacts. Economic, same thing goes. This essentially would branch into the energy industry, where energy will translate to money. People need energy. As a matter of fact, I'm using energy as we speak, trying to make this presentation. The that would be the best economic impact, and it would help a lot in trying to change from fossil fuels to renewable resources when it came to obtaining energy or using energy in the form of light or power or any other form. Social impacts would then it then would categorize under green thumb. We were now independent from fossil fuels, and we no longer have to depend on shipping resource. Well, we'd still have to ship resources, but we wouldn't have to ship as many energy related resources from country to country. We'd just be fully independent. In which case, it not only would impact it economical, but also socially. Ethical responsibilities, it would show ethical responsibilities in the case of the economic impact. It also would have the ethical and professional implications as engineers who will develop or could develop such system using this prediction model. Um, yeah, that's about it for that one. So, in conclusion, overall, the paper itself allows the reader or researcher to um, concur with the analysis and data in multiple different aspects. The key points that I took from this article is that though many implications and mathematical concepts, it is through convolutional neural networking that it allows for the progression of applying artificial intelligence, not only in an image processing aspect, but also with that of other implications that don't require imaging. The only improvement that I would suggest for this article is that of further insight as to what the information or data from previous tests imply. Previous tests being from any other models taken, not just the our VMD. And thank you for watching this critical review. If you have any other questions about uh, this article or any suggestions or questions about this video, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I will see to it as soon as possible. Thank you.